When did this happen? Why did you guys decide to make an app?
There's so much talent worldwide. You know, in many ways, you want to tap into that talent.
The demand for content is so much higher than it's ever been.
That really is only a small portion of what Blackmagic is.
It's so good to see you guys moving into the cloud-based system.
I mean, we're talking about serious image capture quality. What we decided to do was to create a professional app that could live on that phone, that then turned that phone into a Blackmagic camera.
Hi, I'm HaZ Dalull here at IBC to do a series of these breakout sessions for Beyond the Frames. I'm here today with Stuart Ashton from Blackmagic. How you doing, mate?
Hello, I'm good, thank you. It's always a pleasure to see you. I see you around. You're a busy guy these days.
Well, I'm trying to be, likewise, dude. I mean, we've known each other for a while, right? I started using Blackmagic way back in 2011, 2012 when I shot my features and my shorts.
Yeah, I guess so. I mean, certainly man and boy. We've definitely got a few more grey hairs these days.
Yes. But you know, the interesting thing is seeing the growth of the Blackmagic cameras and then going into DaVinci Resolve and the fact that I edited my first feature entirely in Resolve and then seeing the continuation of Resolve build, what's the new stuff that's happening today at IBC with Blackmagic?
Well, I think obviously when you look at kind of that Resolve world, I mean, it's just over the years, it's just kind of gathered more and more momentum, and the feature set, whether it's the inclusion of editing or the inclusion of audio or obviously the Fusion page, these are all things that have enhanced that massively, but that really is only a small portion of what Blackmagic is, because we have a whole live production set up within our business with our ATEM switches and our studio cameras, converters. And then obviously a lot of people know us for our cameras as well, which is obviously, as you say, where we first met.
People forget about the switches and all the back-end stuff. We're walking around today and I've seen all these companies that had never even heard of, and they do transistors and back-end servers and mount racks, and is that what you guys do? All of your switching, your digital video switches, these are stuff that power broadcasts for years and years, but we don't really know that, right? Until we come to shows like this and we see that, oh my God, Blackmagic don't just do cameras and Resolve, it's a whole plethora of things you guys do.
I think what you find is all these different pockets. I mean, everyone talks about film and TV, but there's such a broad spectrum of different types of users, and I think that the other thing that's really exciting and something that I know we've talked about over the years is this ability for anybody now to be a content creator. And everybody to become a broadcaster, with YouTube as a platform, with all the online social media platforms, anybody now can create their own content. And I always look at it as Blackmagic are a company that really is an enabler. How can we make sure that we can give pieces of high quality equipment that produce great quality images or do great things within the film and TV world to the everyman, the guy with a creative idea.
Wherever we go.
Oh yeah, well yeah, I mean this is the thing is we live in such a diverse society, so many great kind of people that are doing great things, and we're just so happy to be part of it.
No, absolutely. I mean, you guys have been great supporters. I mean, one of the things that's happened with me as a growth, we're talking about growth, right? I've seen you guys grow, but also as a filmmaker, I've grown, right? When I first met you, I was doing everything. I was the guy that was editing, shooting, everything. And as you grow as a filmmaker, your career, you get bigger projects and you have bigger teams. And now one of the things I'm doing is I'm not editing my next feature film. I can't, I don't have the time. I'm working with other editors, but as a hands-on director, I still want to be able to go into the edit and make tweaks and add notes. And the thing that's exciting me at the moment about Resolve is the cloud system that you guys recently introduced. Yeah.
So I think, it's a really good point, because I think that what you're seeing on one aspect is where people are doing many different things. So the people that are shooting are also editing, are also grading, are also delivering. But then in your capacity of work, there is that requirement to collaborate with other people. I've known obviously, you for a while, and when we talk about kind of the work you did on your first feature, where you were working with people in India, you were working with people in the US, you were working with people all over the world. Collaboration was something where you take an idea and you have to be able to communicate with many different people to get an outcome that ultimately is achievable in a time frame that's realistic.
Yes.
Because if you tried to do it on your own, the challenge would be that it'd probably take you forever.
Absolutely.
So for Blackmagic, that whole collaborative workflow, the messaging that we have around cloud, is about bringing people together, bring communities together. And if you go onto the App Store now and you download the new Blackmagic Camera App, you now can take your phone and essentially turn that into a digital cinema camera.
What's that about, dude? Because I bumped into you earlier today, and you just whipped out your iPhone and showed me this app. Tell me more about it. When did this happen? Why did you guys decide to make an app?
Yeah, so obviously we have an array of digital cinema cameras, everything up to 12K Ursa products, which have kind of done really, really well. But whether or not you are someone who's just getting into film and wanting to create your own content, there's some incredible tools that already exist. And certainly when you look at the Apple iPhone range, they have some great technology.
Yes.
They have some great cameras. And if you look at their new camera that's coming out on the iPhone 15, I mean, we're talking about serious image capture quality. So what we decided to do was to create a professional app that could live on that phone, that then turned that phone into a Blackmagic camera.
Wow.
And with the ability to record log, the ability to record ProRes, H.264, H.265, but then also using our cloud sync services, our cloud storage, you can now record and you can now share that with a DaVinci project seamlessly. So if we're here in Amsterdam now and we're shooting something on that phone, we can have an editor who's sat over in the UK who's seeing that footage arriving in their bin, instantaneously, and that really is a game changer.
I mean, the iPhone, especially like 12 Pro Max, I remember when I had that, HDR was a big thing. So does the app kind of compensate for HDR in terms of, because I know Resolve's great at HDR gradient for sure.
Yeah, so what we've tried to do with the app is to try and ensure that we really maximize the features of what exist in these cameras. And what we've not done is designed an app that only just works with, say, the latest iPhone. If you're operating on, say, an iPhone 12, you can go and download the app and it will still work, seamlessly there. So, I think something about 20 different iPhones I think it currently works on. So, it's there for everyone to go and use now, free to download. Go and check it out.
How long have you guys been developing this? Because this sounds like something that just came up today.
I mean, it's something that clearly we've spent some time on. It's been part of our development program, and we sort of try and get things moving quite quickly. I think that those people that know Blackmagic know that we don't kind of stand around for too long.
No, you don't.
I mean, I think at the show we've got 3 new cameras, we've got the camera app, we've got a couple of new switcher panels, we've got a new 80x80 video hub, we've got SRT support on things like Web Presenter and on our streaming bridge. We've got an update on DaVinci Resolve 18.6, so there's a lot going on, but I think that really is just us all just trying to keep moving along with the times.
Yeah, I mean, I'm going to selfishly ask, what's some of the new updates and the new Resolve actually just released?
So generally that's a lot of bug fixes that we've tried to attend to. I mean, obviously it's become such a an in-depth, all-encompassing app now that we have to make sure that we stay on top of it and we fix anything that may be a little bit out of kilter. But also the cloud part of it is significant because we've changed the way in which our cloud workflow is.
Right.
So previously what would happen is that you'd pay for a library, that'd be $5, and you could share that library with multiple people. Right. Whereas with the new cloud storage, we're now hosting that storage ourselves. And what you do is that when you download the app, you can apply for a Blackmagic Cloud license, which gives you 2 gigabytes of free storage. But if you want to increase the storage capacity, say, to 500 gig or to a terabyte, or go even as far as a petabyte, you would then pay determining how much storage you need. And that all links back through to DaVinci Resolve, so it's all managed within DaVinci Resolve.
Wow. But am I still able to link to my own storage if I wanted to, say a Dropbox or a AWS, or did you consciously decided to keep it all on Blackmagic in order to keep it efficient and consistent?
Yeah, so to keep the process efficient, obviously it goes through Blackmagic Cloud.
Yes.
And that's because the link is seamless then between the device, the cloud, and obviously DaVinci Resolve, and the communication path is very, very straightforward. I mean, obviously there is the opportunity to off-board record as well. So obviously the new iPhone 15 will have a USB-C connection for off-board recording. So you could use the app and record to ProRes, and then plug that into your local machine and effectively work from that. So there's a couple of different alternatives really.
How does the cloud thing work? Because I'm so used to working locally or with external drives. So in a nutshell, I log on to the cloud, create an account, subscribe, great business model by the way, and I want someone else in New Zealand to start editing. Are they downloading, say, a proxy version, or do they download everything that's on my server?
No, so let's say you go to the first stage, which is 500 gig.
Okay.
So 500 gig is going to cost you $15 a month.
Cool.
That 500 gig is able to be shared between 30 participants. So there's 30 people you can work with, and you can give rights to that storage. And that means that the upload and the download of storage can be shared amongst those 30 people. We also have another tool which is called Presentations, which allows you to view view back that footage, communicate and
Well,
share
like
and talk.
dailies?
Yeah, so it's basically a dailies viewing platform.
That's cool.
And that's 20 presentations. And then you also get one project library as well. Now, if you want to add additional project libraries, it's an additional $5 per project library.
Right.
But that project library is obviously shareable then amongst those
Right. Is there a
participants.
limit on how big the project library should be?
Well, obviously you're bound by the number of participants that are within that storage framework. But obviously as you increase the volume of storage, you can increase the number of participants. And that way, obviously, more people can become involved. Now, the other benefit is that you're not subscribing to something long term. So if you want to work on a project by project basis, all you would do is you would close down that storage requirement at the end of the month, and you wouldn't be charged again.
It's a great way of working because most productions ramp up and down anyway. Like we're making a video game, we've got a separate storage for that, we ramp that up, the amount of people we bring in and ramp it down. It's pretty much how movies are made anyway. You know, they set up what you call an SPV, Special Purpose Vehicle Company. You open that, funnel everything in there, and then you close it. And I think that's a great way of working.
Yep.
So basically, if I've got all my local storage and I upload it, someone else would download that locally onto there.
Yes.
How do you do source control?
Okay, so what we can do is we can sync between different Resolve users. So in effect, what we can do is we can do bin syncing. So in effect, everything that you're seeing on one system is seen on another system as part of the collaboration tools within Resolve.
Cool.
The other part of it as well is that we have a whole hardware set up to this as well, which is the Cloud Store products.
Yes, I
Cloud
saw
Store
that.
8 terabyte, Cloud Store 20 terabyte, 80 terabyte, 320 terabyte. Those devices allow you to seamlessly download that to a local storage device as well, which means that you're not having to constantly go online and pull down that media. So let's say you're working in a, I don't know, like a 12K project or a 6K project or an 8K project, and you're working with very high volume, large cumbersome files. Those originals can be downloaded in the background to their local storage.
That's cool.
Which then means that you're actually linking to that local level, but yet your project is actually still operating seamlessly in a collaborative mode amongst multiple users.
Wow, that's brilliant. And what about things like source control? So obviously, like version control is a big thing, especially when you're making a big feature film. There are different versions of shots, certain things that we may want to go back on. We're doing CGI, and there's various CG renders that we version. How does the cloud manage source control?
Okay, so the main administrator who's in Resolve ultimately controls the acceptance or the rejection of everything that's going on elsewhere. So what they're able to do is if there's a change being made, let's say for instance we're in London and there's somebody in New York and they make an amendment, they can obviously send that across, you can view that timeline adjustment, you can decide whether or not to accept that or decline that. In effect, that's the same within all of the pages. So if you're working within, say, the Fusion page, or if you're working within the audio pages, or a color correction page, it also works the same way.
I mean, I could always export my project file, right? And have that in an archive. I mean, that's kind of the work that we do anyway, but kind of curious, like, there isn't like a rollback feature at the moment.
I don't believe so at this stage. That's a question I have to probably ask one of our developer guys. I mean, Resolve has become so massive.
I know, you guys are constantly
I have to try and
growing
remember
this
everything, but we can ask one of the guys on that.
Yeah.
But I'm pretty sure at the moment you would obviously have to version that in terms of saving it.
Which is supposed to be the most sensible workflow anyways, to have backups of your project file. Right, absolutely. No, but this is great. I mean, it's so good to see you guys moving into the cloud-based system, because like walking around like IBC today, there's everywhere it's cloud storage, cloud workflows. And if you look at the way since the pandemic, right, it's become now the norm to work on teams across the world. It isn't like this like weird thing. And I think to be able to adopt cloud now, I think it's just the internet speed. Make sure everyone's internet speed is the size.
Absolutely. I think there's so much talent worldwide
100%.
that, you know, in many ways you want to tap into that talent. And there's a lot of people out there as well that will also, you know, offer their services. I mean, I'm sure in your time, there's people you've worked with you've never met face to face.
Absolutely.
And you know, the work that they're doing and the word of mouth. You know, what we're actually doing in that collaborative process is not just tapping into existing networks. We're creating new networks, and we're sharing the work, which means that in many ways, you know, there was a big fear at one point that, you know, this commoditization that we were seeing within our marketplace was going to mean that professionals out there would lose their jobs. The reality is that there's more work out there for everybody, and I think that, you know, it's great to be able to see how people are adjusting and evolving, you know, with the times.
I mean, you just hit the nail there. I mean, the demand for content is so much higher than it's ever been in a while. You know, we have so much streaming devices now. We have so much like streamers and the Netflixes and so on, and everyone wants content. You know, it's great for producers like me because like, it keeps me busy. But workflow is a constant thing. You know, efficiency, speed, and I'm just so glad that Resolve is like nailing that. So yeah, I mean, you know, you had me since like the first version of Resolve, dude.
Yeah.
So I'm a constant believer. But yeah, this is exciting, dude. Thanks so much for taking the time, Stuart.
No problem at all.
Appreciate it.
It's always a pleasure. Thank you.
Thanks, man. And that's the end of this episode. Stay tuned for more episodes here at IBC.